Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've been here, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to slide back in here and to give a little bit of a life update and also to kind of get the cobwebs away, because when it's been a long time since I've been here, it does take me some time to get into the rhythm of things. So I thought I should start with an ankle update. It has been, let's see, March, April, May, June, July. We are entering month number 5 since the injury, and we are going from strength to strength. I am so happy to announce that there are no more crutches in the picture, no more crutches in the scenario. They are about to be out the building as well, because I want to donate them to someone who needs them, because I don't want to keep them around so that they can have a reason to be used. You know what I mean? Get rid of that shit. So that's one big thing. One huge thing that's also has come from this period of tending to my ankle and, being forced to kind of slow down, sit at home, take my time, is that I am a lot more in my body than I have ever been in my life. I'm somebody who I tend to spend a lot of time in my head. I ruminate a lot. I think a lot. I turn things over in my mind a lot before I act on them sometimes. I mean, I am also spontaneous, but I do ruminate a lot and I spend a lot of time in my head. So this has been an invitation that I have honored, for better or worse, to be in my body. And it's been such an interesting experience to actually feel that I am in this vessel that I have been gifted. And it's also come with some surprising challenges. I think whenever you're trying something for the first time or you're doing something for the first time, there's all these things that come up that you don't even realize were things because you were not in that space. But now that I'm in my body, I'm realizing that one of the things that I'm having to overcome or get used to is that because I'm in my body, I'm noticing everything. It's like if I hear a little glug in my tummy, I'm like, what is that? Did I drink too much water? Did I drink water too quickly? If I feel like a little headache, I'm like, what's causing that? Do I need to eat? Could it be a migraine coming on? So it's a lot, and so actually in recent weeks, as recent as last week, I was thinking to myself that actually panicking and worrying about every little sound that my body makes is not moving in the direction of continuing to trust my body. And so I've come to the realization and to the agreement with myself that my job is to just relax into my body and appreciate it for the work it's been doing for 3 decades plus. So that has been very helpful. And every time I catch myself starting to stress about what was that, or should I go to the doctor, I just kind of, hey, hello, body has been doing this for ages. It's okay. All you need to do is focus on relaxing and enjoying the body. So that has been super helpful. So that's that on the ankle. Feeling really good, going from strength to strength. I am now using an ankle guard primarily, which has been life-changing, because it means that I can do a lot more. I made a list because I didn't want to forget anything. All right. I feel like there's been tiny changes that have led to major shifts. And that might sound like, that all sounds like this. You could use the same words to describe tiny changes and major shifts. But to me, a tiny change is something that you are maybe incrementally including into your life, or small little changes that you're making that actually have a major impact. And I've noticed that there's been quite a few things, like prioritizing myself. It sounds like the most elementary thing, the most basic thing to know as an adult. But honestly, prioritizing myself and really dedicating myself, committing myself to doing that has been life-changing. It's like a whole new world. A whole new world has emerged for me. And I knew that there was a whole world beyond the space of starting to prioritize myself, but I didn't realize it would be this drastically different. So some of the things that are different is that one day I sat down with my husband and he's been saying to me that I should do this for a while, but I was having a particularly difficult day and he was like, maybe today's the day. And I was like, I am ready now. So we created a circle of support, which is essentially a diagram and an exercise that you can do where you look at all the relationships in your life and you kind of start placing them in different places. So it's literally a circle. So it's like an inner circle, and then the next level after that, and then the next level after that, and then the people who are like kind of on the outside. And you have different sections there, like people that you work with, people who support you, as in like doctors and maybe a therapist, maybe a laundry service in my case. And then you also have an area for loved ones, as in friends, and then you also have another section for family. Family is also loved ones, you know. So that's why I thought let me differentiate between family, friends, and colleagues, and then also people who support you with other services that are very necessary for your life. And it came at the right time because I had been meaning to do like what I was calling a friendship audit. I was literally going to sit down with an Excel spreadsheet, write down all the connections that I think of when I think about who are my friends, and then color coding them. Like red as in, I don't know about this. Orange as in, this needs work, whether it's that I need to nurture the relationship, maybe I owe someone an apology, or I'm like, maybe this, I'm still trying to decide where it goes. And then the green ones, which is like, resounding yes, want them in my life all day, every day, no questions. And so actually the circle of support was a better way to do it because it looked at my whole life and all my relationships holistically. And it was such an instrumental piece of like trying to work towards building community, because I think I mentioned earlier on that one of, not in this video, but in a previous video, that one of the important things for me is community and building community and a circle of people that you can have mutually generous. You can exercise mutual generosity, one of my favorite terms, and reciprocity and mutual care, mutual nurturing and support. Has been very important. And so the circle of support has been instrumental in getting me there. And it's also kind of made me realize, like I had to check myself. There's a lot of people who are on that list that I was like, I have not called this person in ages. I haven't checked on them. They probably send me a message that I haven't responded to. And I know it's as a result of like, sometimes I go into a depressive episode, and then I'm in that dark little pit, in that dark hole for such a long time. And then by the time I emerge, I feel so embarrassed about responding that I kind of leave it till, for even longer, which doesn't make things better. So I think it also brought me into a place of asking myself, am I the kind of friend that I want? Like, I think a lot of us will go, oh, I want my friends to call me more. I want my friends to show up for me more. I want my friends to XYZ, or colleagues or people in your family members, anyone that you're in relationship with, any type of relationship with. You might be thinking, I wish this person was more XYZ. And for me, what I was doing is I was taking the mirror and looking at myself and going, am I the way that I think I should be with my friends? Am I showing up the way that I want my friends to show up for me? So that was major. Next thing is, in my circle of support, as we were doing the exercise, I recognized that I had been meaning to reach out to a therapist that I'd worked with years ago. My very first therapist that I ever had, who is the reason why I believe in therapy as a beautiful process of behavioral change, mindset shifts, and really working on trauma. I first got introduced to therapy when I was 27, living in Cape Town, and quite frankly was suicidal. And so she brought me back from the brink. And so I thought, after being through many different therapists at different times, I decided to reach out to her, and I'm so lucky that we're able to reconnect. It took a few weeks, a few months maybe, but we're back on track. And honestly, it has been so life-giving to work with somebody who literally from the first session we have watershed moments after breakthrough moments, after light bulb moments, after realizations. And actually, I am noticing that I'm finding it not easy, but easier to make behavioral shifts because I have someone else who can reflect back to me what I'm saying, but also someone else who's a professional who can say the reason why this is happening, or the reason why you're feeling this way is because XYZ, or giving me language for what I'm experiencing. And that has been extremely powerful in helping me reconnect with myself and really forming a productive and I want to say measurable, which it's a weird thing to measure changes, but it is something that I am interested in doing. Like, how can I measure how much I'm prioritizing myself, how much I'm shifting my mindset, how much I'm changing my behaviors? And it's lovely to have somebody to do that with. Another thing that I've been doing is I've been taking myself on dates and solo adventures. Honestly, that has felt like drinking water after walking in the desert for 5 days in the beating hot sun by myself and realizing, oh my gosh, I needed water. All this time, I needed water and I wasn't giving myself water. So I have been drinking, glugging away the water in the form of, taking myself on like little trips on the ferry to a beach nearby or far away. And it's been very interesting to see how I come alive. I come alive. The ferries in New York are one of my favorite things to ride because it just reminds me that I live on an island. And I also feel that water is like a big teacher for me. So often when I'm on the water or by the water, I find myself really accessing a place of in myself that I feel like I don't easily access every day. And I feel like it takes me a shorter period of time to get to that depth. And I think it's got to do with water as a conduit, and so I find that I reach a level of introspection that I often need when I feel that need to go to the beach. So I've been doing that a lot. What else? Huge. We have a 2-bedroom apartment where we're staying. Very lucky because in Brooklyn, rent is very expensive, but we also got lucky with the apartment we found, where we live, the building we're in, the people who are in the building, the number of people in the building. Like, honestly, I always say to people, I'm the luckiest person I know. And that's because I feel like I always land myself in the sweetest pot of honey without even trying, and I'm in the process of studying why that is and like looking at my patterns of behavior and thinking and wondering what is it that brings this like lucky charm element into my life. Like literally the rent we pay here, I'm not even going to tell you until maybe I do a room tour or an apartment tour because it's unheard of the amount of rent we pay. And it's in a lovely neighborhood that I didn't know of before, which is really ungentrified and has such a variety of people from all parts of the world. We live in a building with only 6 apartments, even though we pay such like low rent. And the people who are in this building were all the same age. We're all in the same age group. Isn't that wild? And we all actually like each other. Like we like each other and trust each other to such an extent that we have each other's keys. Crazy. I just looked at my battery. It's about to die. So let me keep moving. So I've been making over the second room so that it can serve as a guest room as well as an at-home office as well as a video game room. Previously, it was just a video game room, which was lovely and wonderful for 2 years. But I'm seeing that I need this I have been needing for this to turn into a room where I can host friends and family because actually my tribe is scattered all over the world. And while I am trying to build community in New York, it's a slow process. It's a careful process. And it's taking me longer than I thought it would. I'm like, I know this sounds conceited, but I thought I'm just going to come to New York. I'm going to meet people. We're going to like each other. And we're just going to make friends. Why wouldn't you want to be friends with me? Come on. You know what I mean? Young and dumb I was. And so it's been harder because there's a whole lot of cultural things that are happening that I was not previously aware of until I arrived here. And I was just like, fuck, it's so hard to make friends. But I'm making friends. I'm building my little community. But until that point, I still need to connect with my existing community, which is primarily in Africa, South Africa, because I'm South African, obviously. And then European. I have a lot of connections in Europe because of my travels, where I've studied. And also I just feel like I connect with the European lifestyle more than I do an American lifestyle. That has nothing to do with the people that I connect with or not connect with. I like all people. And I actually make friends with people from all different backgrounds and all different age groups. It just so happens that the way my life path has gone, most of my connections are in Europe and in Africa. And so, South Africa primarily. So I have been realizing that having a space here for people to come and visit will be a life-changing thing. And then, of course, as soon as I said it, one of my closest friends, Pearl, came to visit. I've known her for 20 years. I actually was calculating that before coming on here. I'd be like, how long have I known Pearl? 20 years. That is wild. Anyway, she came to visit, and that was like a nice catalyst to get us to get our shit together because we had to declutter, we had to give things away, we had to sell things, we had to move things around, and our apartment feels so much better. Like I've had this vision for so long, and it was lovely to have a shared goal with my husband to work towards so that by the time Pearl came, we were A-okay. And we got there, and it feels amazing, it looks amazing. And so Pearl obviously visited, and that was such a highlight, and it kind of reminded me that my vision was right. I was right to have this vision because it's nice to have people come stay over. Like when Pearl was here, I was speaking Setswana like I have never before. Kore ke bua le mafoko ana ke lebetseng gore ke kgone go a bua ke a bua le go utlwa Setswana. You know, somebody who comes from your same background. It's like literally nourishing the spirit in a way that I cannot describe. Like you need your friends who know you, to visit you, especially when you move to a new culture where you are maybe stumbling sometimes. And it was just magical, amazing, beautiful. Every time Pearl comes to visit, I cry when she leaves because it's always like such a nourishing thing. I'm like, I wish you lived here, and that happened this time as well. Yeah, so when Pearl was here, we went cycling. We went to Governor's Island, and I think the cycling in itself was like an expression of how far I've come with my ankle injury and recovery, and I'm so happy about that. And then while I was cycling, another friend of mine contacted me, who's also like a soul sister, spiritual connection of mine that I've also known for 10 years. We met in Cape Town. And she has been such a light for me in many ways. She invited me to Nashville. She was like, do you want to go to Nashville this weekend? I was like, yes. I didn't think twice. I'm like, let's go. So she booked me flights and we went to Nashville. We spent one night there, but it felt like 3 because we were there early in the morning and we left late at night the next day. And you know what? We had such a sweet experience. It was so hot. You know, the kind of hot where you feel like you walk outside and it sounds like the street is sizzling or your skin is sizzling. It was like that, and I loved every inch of it. There's something about Nashville that felt like home. I think it was the dry heat paired with like the long distances between places, paired with the suburbs that they had there, Brentwood. That's where we ended up exploring, partly. Obviously we did downtown as well, and there's also like this the sounds of nature, like the air. I just had so much nostalgia for home, and then there's also like this other weird thing where there's like a little layer of racism, and I know it sounds really messed up to say, but in Pretoria that exists as well, and that's probably part of the reason why Nashville also felt like home. I was like, this is so familiar to me, so I feel like I could live in Nashville. Nashville is added to my list of places that I've been to that I would definitely live in and revisit, and I'm joyful for it. We had southern cuisine. People were super friendly. We were able to like explore like the natural areas there, which there were many. It was so green, like such a green space. I really love Nashville. I didn't expect to, but I did. So yeah, those are the things that I have been up to. I'm trying not to speak for too long. Also, my battery's about to die. But it's been a period of growth, evolution, appreciation for myself, like trying to exercise radical acceptance, which is very, very difficult because I think we all want to cut away the parts of ourselves we don't like a fruit that's gone bad. You want to just take off the little pieces that don't work. And one of the things that my therapist and I have been exploring and that she has been replanting into me and watering in me is the idea that it's okay for all of it to be there, and there's space for all of it. And by that I mean there's space for grief, there's space for joy, there's space for sadness, there's space for good days and bad days, there's space for disappointment, there's space for nuanced complexity, there's space for black and white, clear feelings and perspectives. There's space for all of it. It can all exist because we're complex human beings that are going through a strange experience called life, encountering all kinds of people along the way. And that has been such a soothing thing to constantly hold on to. There's space for all of it. There's space for all of it. So I'm going to end by asking you a question and inviting you to do an exercise that I have been doing actually since I think last year. And I'm so sad that I can't remember who the person is who introduced this to me. It was somewhere on YouTube or like a psychology blog. But essentially this person was saying that you should put in your phone, in your calendar app, every month for the rest of your life. I did it for the rest of my life. A question, choose it one day of the month. I do it on the 30th of every month. What has changed? And you marinate on that and you meditate on that and you journal on that. And that has been so, so important for me to realize that even when I don't feel like I'm making changes, even when I don't necessarily see the changes in real time, I'm taking incremental steps towards a better version of myself, towards the kind of life I want, and to be able to withstand the storms, the breezes, the hailstorms, the beautiful days of life. So that's the question that I would like to invite you to put into your Battery died, but I was just coming back to say I hope you feel invited by that question and that you take a moment to put it into your calendar very quickly and ask yourself what has changed and really just journal on that and think on that, meditate on that. I found it to be a powerful exercise. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up now. And of course, if there's anything you want to share with me, if there's anything that resonated, as usual, please write to me. I would love to hear it. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day further. Goodbye.